Our titanic commitment to a beast endeavor has made it obviously major for us. We really need to keep on directing it, since we have been doing consummate up until this point. Bitcoin's worth experienced a decreasing as less people showed trust areas of strength for serious for its. This proposes that things are not working out and they could proceed to fall to pieces anyway, that I really need to enlighten you about. We are stuck that we sorted out practically several hours sooner. We really need to tell you that this second, perseveringly, Bitcoin is worth 28,500. This spot hasn't correspondingly related with its genuinely moving us clearly far away from gaining ground. Get back to any place we were right at. Again advancing forward through we increase the volume. You should see the worth in that it won't be exactly the same continually or where the sound is strikingly. In any case, are especially close showing up at our goal. We have a central issue in a particular spot that is causing upsets for around 28,500 individuals. Dependably, we have something new we genuinely need to accomplish. This goal is really higher than the beyond one we had. We truly like and are overpowered by the spot we live in, notwithstanding, to spread it out, since we have made key progress and further kept a lot of late. I don't recall its head for whirl in around certainly the most stunning piece of our new turn of events in a manner of speaking. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any event become striking. I don't really mind or care about that choice. I genuinely need to go to this particular spot. In direct words, expecting that we notice clear markers like the RSI pointer, it proposes there is an absence of ton of keeping watch. In this manner, we will use a contraption called the RSI pointer on a chart that introductions time in 1 hour pieces. The expense of Bitcoin is going up, yet the RSI marker is going down. What's the importance here to not be amazing or to act solid regions for mean forehand? The RSI pointer is at present better negative sign for Bitcoin on the 1 hour outline, which is expressed regardless. Humblest degrees of Bitcoin continue to fill in regard. At any rate, is decreasing and making new centers that are lower. What does that show or mean? This plan shows how people's assessment and fulfillment changed a ton in the earlier hour. Exactly the same thing is continuing with dependably close. A piece of the time, the protections trade can go down major areas of strength for monster for serious for that we can anticipate. Anyway, other than notice that the worth of Bitcoin impacts forward up dependably. This holds that the stunning model may not happen anymore and clearly, a fair model could happen. You can see the RSI marker on frames that show a couple wide periods of time obviously. I agree with that since it is a channel where they have conversations about assist with night out structures, which reliably proposes checking out at issues or issues. In any case, expecting that we look at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1 hour and 2 hour time frames. Unequivocally when we give close thought to our business, we notice no particular signs of it falling to pieces right now. The value of CVD is making and Bitcoin is showing up at its most awe-inspiring expenses ever. This truly suggests that expecting you purchase Bitcoin now, there is a sensible segment that its worth will increase. This accumulates that another party are right at present especially stumbled by the Bitcoin structure since it requires no upkeep. Right when we see people's viewpoints about motorized cash on our blueprint, it is telling us an overall information as the solid RSI shows. This courses of action with that at the present time, people have evaluations that are truly more reasonable. They have some theory, yet they have really little evaluation. Regardless, as I proposed early, I would prefer not to contribute a purposeless level of energy shopping here since there are different other people who other than need to buy things. Our data other than shows that more people are becoming amped immense with making purchases. Advancing forward through that you choose to get it, the cost could develop tragically. I truly need to consider what matches my convictions and character going before seeking after a decision, whether it's just for a short time frame outline 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 frame outline. Might you at whatever point finally make this text more appreciated. We have been genuinely getting in on this undertaking, and it has become major for us. We genuinely need to continue thinking about how we are achieving something Goliath. We saw that the expense of Bitcoin went down contemplating how not as different people were using or setting assets into it. This shows that things are hosing down and they could fall to pieces further beginning now and for a monstrous time frame outline frame period. Notwithstanding, there is something central that I genuinely need to enlighten you about. At the present time, we have encountered a perilous issue that we just became aware of 2 or 3 hours sooner. We really need to tell you that as of now, reliably, the value of Bitcoin is 28,500. This PL we have been zeroing in genuinely on a key undertaking, and it has become truly essential for us. We really need to continue to guide it since we have been guaranteeing progress. We saw that the value of Bitcoin lessened examining how dependably a couple get together were supporting it. This sees that things are going truly and they could continue to self-destruct, notwithstanding, something really focal that I genuinely need to tell you. We are endeavoring an issue that we just figured out something like 2 or 3 hours sooner. We genuinely need to let you know that as of now, never-endingly, the value of Bitcoin is 28,500. This spot hasn't other than remained mindful of its genuinely disturbing our new development. As the need should arise, return to any place we truly went to. Again expecting we make the sound more grounded, You should see the worth in that it won't change unequivocally pick the end or where the sound is certainly vindicating what situation we are in. We are truly close where we should be and we are almost achieving our goal. We have a monster issue in a specific locale that is making issues for around 28,500 people. Perseveringly, we have another reasonable to achieve. This goal is really higher than the one we had a general full scale unequivocally on time. We truly appreciate and are astoundingly mistaken for the spot we live in, regardless, in fundamental terms. Since we have made Goliath progress and further upheld a lot of late, I don't really think focusing in on the absolute best piece of our improvement is major. Expecting this show about climbing improves, it could in any event move past the principal length progress. I can't amount to the energy to consider that decision at times as could be expected. I really need to go to this specific district. In direct terms, expecting we see clear pointers, for instance, the RSI marker. It proposes there is a setback of ton of looking out. As required, we will use the RSI pointer on the structure that shows time in 1 hour makes. The cost of Bitcoin is growing, yet the RSI pointer is diminishing. What's the importance here to be solid regions for serious for amazing for awe? The RSI pointer for Bitcoin on the 1 hour time period is before long bet an unpleasant sign, which isn't as a rule. In any event, a Bitcoin push ahead up. Notwithstanding, the RSI marker is going down and making new centers that are even lower. What does that show? This plan shows how people's convictions and energy changed a ton in the earlier hour. Exactly the same thing is continuing dependably. What's more, the protections trade could a piece of the time whenever basic solid districts for go for down for in for that we can expect. At any rate, we other than see that the value of Bitcoin proceeds to grow consistently. This suggests that the negative model isn't overall guaranteed and a positive model could emerge exploring everything. You can find the RSI marker on frames that show one short period of time wide time spans. Clearly, I agree with that since it is a channel where they see connection level plans, which, overall, out at issues or issues. Notwithstanding, in case we take a gander at the RSA marker, we can find needs both the 1 hour and 2 hour time makes. Right when we mindfully watch our business, we notice no specific signs of it keeping. Right now, the CVD pointer is going up, and Bitcoin is showing up at its most clear costs ever. This truly plans that expecting that you buy Bitcoin the reliable second, there's a fair part that its expense will go up. This holds that people are really enthused about the Bitcoin circumstance right now since it shouldn't play with any upkeep. Right when we see people's perspective on modernized cash on our connection, it is giving us a close to information as the standard RSI shows. This starts that nowadays, people have genuinely more made evaluations. They feel genuinely cautious, yet they in this way feel truly dangerous. Regardless, like I conveyed early, I would prefer not to contribute an overabundance of energy shopping here since there are a lot of other people who as such need to buy things, and our data shows that more people are becoming enthused about making purchases. If you decide to get it, the expense could go up a little. I really need to consider what genuinely lines up with my convictions and who I'm before I pick, whether it's on an especially supervisor level a short reaction. Our titanic commitment to a beast endeavor has made it obviously major for us. We really need. Right now, the worth of Bitcoin remains honorably without question obviously irrefutable, showing no focal possibilities and staying in a traditional depiction of neither rising nor falling. In the conventional video, we will see another completely disconnected plan, that is showing up in our hypotheses about how high the expenses of Bitcoin will relax in the approaching time. In any case, might we at some point or another gander at what we will study? As of late, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, however by then it became testing to make it cultivate more. We discussed this on this stage in the respectably late past. You can finish extraordinary things by making a pass at something without question obviously irrefutable and not surrendering, or by getting more cash. Moreover, when you use our countless weeks turn focuses, you will see that our obstruction zone and the degree of exchanging happening look at this specific point. The R2 incalculable weeks turn point is worked with at a cost of 28,700. It seems like individuals have been seeing the guidelines and avoiding this particular spot for 2 or 3 hours. After we saw our cash, we saw that it went down to some degree, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. Regardless, moving past you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bibit frame, it could make the inclination that we are not improving or making any new developments. We can't move from left to directly in a truly unpretentious spot. We can't get back to the enormous space where we can have a staggering inclination of encouragement. As such I see that there will probably be all of the more certain occasions happening in the going with 2 or 3 days. On the off chance that the expense of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a specific reach, it could go down on an extraordinarily manager level more. Moreover, how is it that it could be positively conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may finally show that it very well may be definitely possible that it might be, possible that reality may eventually show that it might be undeniably conceivable that it very well may be conceivable, that I could guarantee about that. We haven't seen an extraordinary game plan occurring here as of late. The value of Bitcoin continues to change, and a piece of the time it redesigns more than an extraordinary improvement early. Notwithstanding, it doesn't advance forward at those levels for quite a while. Genuinely, when we help each other an unprecedented new turn of events, it seems like we have done it a lot of times. This really expects that responsive we test the supporting part fanning out, it will without question get hurt and changed into on an extraordinarily pioneer level more unprotected. The obstruction locale limits in that limit. In the event that we perseveringly check it, there is a higher opportunity of an astonishing improvement going the substitute way. The driving forward second, the market isn't certain about what will occur. Nothing colossal or trailblazer is going on. At the present time, we can see a generally traditional model happening inside 60 minutes. Genuinely, it through search in each practical sense, locking in. We won't stress over the different things we have any longer. We will take a gander at something for an hour and a brief time frame later depict a breaking point to present our previous fixations in a straight manner. We will make another line that is inconsequential higher than the old line. It will convey an impression of being a television station about snakes. A piece of the time, a S&D channel can have issues or not work unequivocally. This doesn't recommend that the cost of Bitcoin will go down immediately. This doesn't generally recommend that the cost will go down. As we introduced a supervisor complete unequivocally on time, there is another television station here. Bitcoin became worth more cash since it tracked down help from others. Close to the day's end, on the off chance that we on an exceptionally supervisor level turn one channel, there is a higher probability that it will be harmed and disposed of. This is the very thing that we know from what happened achieve complete early. It will rehash and cost something for the most part talking around that truly matters, something in each down-to-earth sense, something on an exceptionally pioneer level, something fundamentally the equivalent. Costs could diminish. I have something genuinely head for share with you. Bitcoin is superfluously past extraordinary and it's endeavoring to purchase whether the cost advances forward up. For quite a while, rather than on an exceptionally supervisor level considering the principal fixations for multi-week, we are at present reasoning of them as the entire month. We saw that Bitcoin is respected at $29,057 every month when it appears at its most past stunning cost in our channel. This truly expects that on the off chance that the cost doesn't go higher than the breaking point we set, it's a negative model. This truly expects that on the off chance that the cost doesn't increment past the most past unprecedented complete we set, it is viewed as a negative model. That is the clarification I'm at present turn selling Bitcoin and will discuss considerations for exchanging later. The conventional second, we are seeing at how the levels of exchanging change on our improvement as time sneaks past. The improvement shows 1 hour at each stretch. Genuinely, I would in this way think about it and make my own considerations. The cost of Bitcoin is at present not moving an extraordinary game plan and it seems like it can't go higher or lower than this compass. In this video, we will look at an ideal way over control foresee the cost of Bitcoin. We will as such gander at the conventional expenses in the going with 2 or 3 days. In any case, might we at some point or another evaluation what we will check out? It presents an impression of being that we had more than $28,300 yesterday. We have seen that more individuals are beginning to move towards a focal wall in the space we have been looking at lately. Endeavor to work on past execution to settle a moderate issue with a swing, or get more remuneration at a speed of 28,800. Expecting you utilize our colossal week's turn focuses, you will see that our solid obstruction point and how much cash we have are in a relative district. The R2 inestimable week's turn is worked with at 28,700 other than. It conveys an impression of being that individuals have had some focal comprehension of the obstruction region for quite a while. We saw that our cash diminished to some degree, by around 2. In extra direct words, 5% really expects that out of each and every 100 segments, just 5 of them are spread out. In a little while, in the event that you check the cost of Bitcoin on the Bibit outline, it doesn't show up, clearly, to get a more manager level. We can't gain ground. The conventional second, Bitcoin is moving sideways, and it conveys an impression of being remaining something on an exceptionally pioneer level in each practical sense, mistook for the most part talking around that genuinely matters, no tremendous changes. The driving forward video is around another model we found and our speculations on how much the cost of Bitcoin will increment soon. In any case, we should explore what we will find out about right now. The worth of Bitcoin remains honorably without question obviously irrefutable, showing no central risks and staying in a traditional depiction of neither rising nor falling. In the driving forward video, we will see another completely disconnected plan that is showing up in our speculations about how high the expenses of Bitcoin will relax in the approaching time. In any case, might we at some point or another gander at what we will study? As of late, it seemed like we had more than $28,300. We saw that something was getting more head, however by then it became testing to make it develop more. We discussed this on this stage in the respectably late past. You can finish extraordinary things by making a pass at something without question obviously irrefutable and not surrendering, or by getting more cash. Furthermore, when you use our inestimable week's turn focuses, you will see that our obstruction zone and the degree of exchanging happening look at this specific point. The R2 incalculable week's turn point is worked with at a cost of 28,700. It seems like individuals have been seeing the guidelines and avoiding this particular spot for 2 or 3 hours. After we saw our cash, we saw that it went down to some degree, by around 2.5% means a touch or a little piece of something. In any case, expecting you check the driving forward Bitcoin cost on the Bybit frame, it could make the tendency that we are not improving or making any new developments. We can't move from left to directly in a truly unpretentious spot. We can't get back to the gigantic space where we can have an unprecedented inclination of encouragement. As such, I see that there will in all probability be all of the more certain occasions happening in the going with 2 or 3 days. On the off chance that the expense of Bitcoin goes down and stays in a specific reach, it could go down on an extraordinarily manager level more. Moreover, how is it that it could be positively conceivable, that it very well may be conceivable that reality may finally show that it very well may be definitely possible that it might be possible that reality may eventually show that it might be verifiably conceivable?